Hi, I'm Dave Epstein, and welcome to this edition of Growing Wisdom. Today from Barry's Greenhouse in Natick, Massachusetts. So today I'm at Barry's Greenhouse, and we're standing in front of a tray of a lot of different plants. And what they do here is they're going to be taking these and potting them up. So they ordered these trays. This is a tray of Prairie Fire grass, and you can see just how beautiful that is. And what they do here is they'll take what's called a plug, and this little plug here will go into a pot. It'll grow for, a month or two, and then they will sell it as an individual pot, and that's where the public can buy these. So what we're looking at is everything kind of before it ends up in the retail stores. What I want to talk about today are some of the plants that I find interesting that maybe you want to look for this year from your local greenhouse or perhaps from a landscape designer if you work with one. So let's start with the Prairie Fire. This is a great little grass. You can see the wonderful color it has on it, so it's got that nice yellow-orange color. And this almost looks like fall, and it's sort of a preference for some people. Some folks may not like this because it's not spring or summery enough, but I really like this color because I think it's so different in the landscape, and it makes a great grass in a container. Another one that I really like is this little rush, and I've grown this, and it's actually fairly hardy. It sometimes seeds in my yard, and I find it popping up around the pond, and you can see it's a neat little rush. It's kind of curled, and it has a very thick, almost waxy texture to it. This would be great in a container. It's also good in a water garden. I just showed you the rush. Rushes are round, R for round. Here's a little sedge. Sedges are square, so that's one of the ways I can tell the difference. And this is a really nice little sedge. It's called Evergold, and you can see why. It's got that nice golden color. And you could put that with some of the other plants we've already shown you, and it makes a nice contrast in any container. So one of the things that's becoming more popular are these vertical walls, growing plants on a wall, or actually having something that is vertical. It might be a container. And obviously certain plants will do better than others. This little plant here, this is Beyond Blue. This is a fescue. You can see it's in the tray horizontally, but if we put it vertically, that would look kind of neat mixed in with a few other plants. Again, Beyond Blue fescue. These will be potted up. You can see how nice the roots are here, and this will be put into a much larger pot. So we've talked about yellow, orange, green, and blue. Let's get to some reds, some Pennisetum. This is Fireworks, and you can see this little guy really would pop in the garden. Now remember, these are small because they're going to be grown into bigger pots, so by the time they end up in the store, they'll be a lot bigger. But the color is really what you want to look for, and it might not show up as well with orange, but it certainly shows up really nicely with green, and depending on what other plants you use with it, it will really pop in any container. So if you like something really on the dark side, this black Mondo Grass is fantastic. Now I have pretty good luck with it in zone 5B to 6A. Anything colder than that, it tends not to be able to survive the winter. Definitely 6B and warmer, it will survive outside, but it's a nice container plant, especially for maybe a window box or a smaller container, because it is so small that it really doesn't want to be in a big container unless you have a lot of it and make a nice mat and then have something coming out of the center. We might as well stick with Mondo Grass. Here's a green variety, another small Mondo Grass. You can see how nice and tight this is. I've seen this used in fairly large plantings as just a straight mat. It does spread really well. Let me pull one of these up, and you can see the roots here. And what you can do over time, this will spread and create a really nice thick mat. It also is a nice lawn substitute as well, especially if you're not walking on it, but if you just need a wide expanse of green, the Mondo Grass works pretty well. So I'm reaching over the table here. This is it's called a Corniche minimus aureus for the yellow color, and this is another small little grass, very tight, it's going to stay very low, nice to kind of create the cover in any container that you might want. All the plantings would then come up out of this grass. Now there's other plants here as well. There's some Pachysandra, there's some Haconocloa. We also have a little bit of Euonymus, and there's some Liriope. And all of these will make great plantings in a container. Now, they're not going to flower per se. They're not going to have big, beautiful flowers like some of the annuals or even perennials you might put in a container. These make great fillers. They make nice bases for any container. And the fact that they have different colors and different textures will set your containers apart if you choose something like this instead of just the traditional things that many folks put in their containers. For Growing Wisdom, I'm Dave Epstein.